How's it going, everyone? Today I wanted to make sure that I did a video on not just a firearm. There's lots of firearms. Everybody's got videos on YouTube about them. But this one I think doesn't have much coverage. And not only that does it not have much coverage, but it's not respected as well as I think it needs to be. So today I'm going to be doing my review on the Remington New Model Army. A great revolutionary handgun that saw battles in the Civil War with Western expansion and carried by heroes in the military and Western heroes like Wild Bill Cody. So today, let's talk about the Remington New Model Army. So let's clear up one thing right now. The Remington New Model Army is known by a bunch of different names, and the reason why is because it's changed so much over the years. For instance, when it first started, it was known as just the Remington New Model. But later on, it became known as the Remington New Model 1858 because of the marking of the copyright on the actual gun itself. And later on, it went on to become the Remington 1872 based on the changes when they went from a conversion of black powder onto cartridge-based bullets. So there's been a lot of change over the years based on just the name alone. It's kind of led to a lot of confusion over which model is which. But in general, when we're talking about the Remington New Model, we're talking about the 1858 or the 1872. Basically the same gun with maybe a cartridge conversion. Now, what's important about this gun, especially over guns of its time like the Colt Patterson, is the fact that this gun had a lot of changes to it that made it a lot easier to use in the field. In the Civil War, there wasn't many options for revolvers. I mean, realistically, you only had one option, and that was basically the Colt. And if you didn't choose the Colt, you basically stuck to your single-shot handguns. So your general options were what pretty much you got, which was generally a Colt. Whether you fought in the Confederate side or the Union, it was generally a Colt. At some point during the Civil War, the Colt factory actually burned down, and they couldn't fulfill the orders the Union needed to really get enough handguns out to the troops. So they started to fill orders with the Remington New Model, which oddly enough was only about 50 cents more back then than the Colt. However, today that 50 cents would be about $12 to $15, so it's quite a bit per gun at the time. With the introduction of the Remington New Model, it was quickly seen on the battlefront realistically how much of a better gun it was. For instance, it had a top strap, unlike the Colts that didn't, which gave it a little bit more durability. At the very least, it made soldiers feel more comfortable with the gun, feeling that it had a more solid and durable design. It had an easy lever for reloading in the field, and probably its biggest asset, which was one of the most important things, and even something that was used pretty regularly, was the ability to quickly change over the cylinders. During the Civil War, when you wanted to reload your black powder cap and ball revolver, you had to obviously sit there and do it in the field. One of the great assets that people came up with was carrying extra cylinders preloaded. Now that was a lot to do when you were talking about loading a Colt, but when it came to the Remington New Model Army, it was super easy. It was extremely fast and very efficient to carry extra cylinders and quickly reload. I mean, it literally takes no time at all. I'm sure there's videos out there on how to do it. Maybe I'll even show you in this video how you do it. It was one of the big things that really differentiated itself from other guns of the time. Its ability to be a stronger, more durable gun, its ability to be loaded quicker, and its number one asset, more than likely, I think that most people found, is it was damn accurate. And soldiers all over the Civil War did their very best to get them, and that meant if they had to save up 4 months worth of salary to afford one, or have family members send them money to afford one, or steal one off the battlefield, they did what they could. In fact, in the South, they had been for a long time copying, badly may I add, Colts, and when the Remington New Model came out, it gave them the option of copying another. After seeing how good of a gun the Remington New Model Army was, they immediately tried to copy it. The problems were that when they tried to copy the gun, they really just couldn't get the signs of it down because the gun was so well produced and manufactured, it was almost impossible for the Confederates to do it properly. So first, let me apologize if the camera is a little bit shaky here. I was kind of caught in a situation where I don't have any of my stands to record, and it's crazy because I'm in the middle of building a house and a lot of stuff right now, so I knew I needed to get a new video up for everyone who watches my channel, which I'm super thankful again for all the people who have subscribed to me, but I needed to give a new review, and I had actually started working on one previous to the move,
and it was on this particular gun. This is an icon of the West. It's a classic of the West, and being that, you would think there'd be more coverage on it, and it's really not. I mean, you see it once in a while pop up in an old Western movie, occasionally even in a new Western movie. For instance, it's featured as one of the guns as a choice in The Quick of the Dead, and it's just such a phenomenal and not just phenomenal working tool. It's a beautiful tool. I mean, take a look at this. Just the craftsmanship of a gun that was built so long ago. Now, obviously, I'm not super rich, so I do not have the original. This is a copy made by Uberti or Pietta, which is an excellent reproduction. In fact, most say it's very hard to even tell the differences between the two. So let's get a close-up here of it here.
So let's talk about the Remington new model, or the Remington 1858. This is a great gun. My review is going to be short because it's an excellent gun. It's history in your hands. First off, it's finely tuned, it's craftsmanship built, and it is an excellent gun. It's cap and ball, or black powder revolver, which means you individually load each chamber with a wad, black powder, a ball. So it's definitely old school tech, but to me, this particular revolver has been extremely reliable, more reliable than Colts I've messed around with in the past, and hell, it's been more reliable than a lot of 22s I shoot. I'll say this right now. Its craftsmanship is probably one of those things that sticks with you the most. When you hold it in your hands, you just feel this solid piece of hardware, and you really feel comfortable holding it. It's very accurate. Misfires don't seem to be a major problem playing with it, as long as you load it correctly, and I think take your time. This might not be the gun for everybody in the world today. A lot of people like to just rush through things. They don't want to go through the process of actually loading each individual chamber. But I think that there's something to that. I think there's a magic to going back to just playing or using cap and ball revolvers. There's just something so special and unique about it. I think it's excellent, and I really do feel that everyone should own at least one cap and ball revolver and know how to use it. It's just excellent, and as I said, it's extremely accurate, and I don't think it's hard to do. I think it's easy to load, and I think that the more you do it, the faster you get at doing it. So I absolutely love this gun, and I think everyone should grab one. They're not too expensive. This one runs about $400 to $500. It is the nicer of the options, but they're affordable.
All right, wait a second. All right,
Ready? Dang, that thing is powerful.
see the fire come out the end. Oh. Oh. There we go. I believe that's it. Yep. Oh, wait, no, one more.